Welcome to the football offices at the Heminger Center here on the campus of Tiffin University. Hi everybody, I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons. To my left, head football coach Cris Reisert. Welcome to the Cris Reisert Show. Excuse me, Coach. How are we doing today, buddy?
Doing awesome. Thanks for asking. Happy to be here.
No, it's a big week on campus, Coach, with homecoming festivities coming up this weekend. We'll touch on that a little bit towards the end of the program, and it's also big because you're swinging right back into the heat of the conference schedule again, and all conference opponents the rest of the way out. We'll touch on that as well. Got a lot to talk about with the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. You just finished up the GMAC GLVC Challenge out at Truman in a very tough football game. We'll talk a little bit about that, Coach. You know, offensively, you guys racked up 399 yards in that game, but really, you got to be really proud of how your defense played on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought our defense played really, really well. I thought, as a team, I thought we played with great effort. You know, and you can never fault that with our group. And so I'm really proud of how hard they played. Proud that they played 60 minutes, and unfortunately, a play or two. That they made that we didn't, and it ends up with an L in the loss column, and that's part of the game, and so we've got to learn from it, got to dust ourselves off and flush it and move on and get better.
That's the hard part, you got, especially when you're dealing with young men, for the learning from it, that's the part you expect the kids to do. But the moving on and everything, it can be a little tough, especially on a long bus ride home. Yep. But when you got all these conference games staring you in the face as you get back and look at the schedule, knowing that you're 2-0 in conference play, and seeing all those conference games in front of you, that kind of gets the spirit going.
Yeah, I think we still got a lot to play for.
Absolutely.
We got a lot to play for. We got the bulk of our season ahead of us, right directly in front of us, and so it's just the daily discipline of being able to prepare the right way and shift the narrative from what may have happened in the past to be able to learn and grow from that narrative and allow ourselves to play better football moving forward. And I think that when I tell the guys that I think we're right there, we're close. We're playing really good football with some really good football teams. And Saturday, statistically, we dominated the football game, but just didn't in the win-loss column. And there's no moral victories here, right? I think our program has passed moral victories. But I think you always have to look at how things happen and draw from those experiences, and I think it'll help us move forward and help us put a better product in the field on Saturday.
And that's not only for the players, that's for your coaches as well, right?
Without a doubt. No, I think it's like anything, right? You can dwell in the past, or you can find a way to really kind of pick through it with a fine-tooth comb, and once you've done that, right, flush it, and at that point you've got to be full steam ahead. And so our week is now about Lake Erie, and it's about finding a way to play really good football this Saturday in front of a great crowd, homecoming, and to go 1-0. And anything other than that would be a dissatisfaction to our team or to our fans, and we've got to make sure we bring our best on Saturday.
It's about going 1-0 on Saturdays. That's where it breaks it all down to that. And you talk about being, homecoming. It should be beautiful weather. There was a little bit of the threat with the hurricane moving its way up the west coast of Florida, that some of that could get up here, and it looks like that's going to evade us. So if you're thinking about coming, if you've been thinking you're on the fence, there's really no reason not to come.
No reason not to come.
Weather should be beautiful. There's going to be plenty of stuff on campus as well as at the stadium for the young and old alike to do, to just a whole day of fun activities, really all week. We're recording this on Tuesday. Tonight there's volleyball, tomorrow soccer, Thursday soccer, Friday volleyball, Saturday volleyball, the football game, Hall of Fame, all kinds of activities coming up. But let's talk about the football team right now, and we look at the GMAC conference standings, coach, as we get back into it. There's another conference game coming up. You and Hillsdale sit at the top right now at 2-0. Then after that, you got Ashland and Northwood at 1-0. ODU and Lake Erie 1-1, and then Kentucky Wesleyan, Walsh and Finley at 0-2 in the conference. So, like you said just a little bit ago, I was going to use those words. There's still a lot to play for, and there's still a ton to play for. Conference championship, you get that conference championship, more than likely you're probably going to be playing more football after that. So, this coming week against a Lake Erie opponent who has a win in conference, we said 1-1, is an incredibly important game for your kids.
It is. No, it's one that we're looking forward to, and one that we know we need to play really, really well to win. And I think hats off to Lake Erie. They've done a great job this season. They're really, really a potent offense.
We'll talk about that.
One of the best offenses in the conference, and really throw it. The quarterback's really good. Got a great back, and some great wideouts around them. And defensively, they do a lot of things schematically to kind of knock you off balance. So it'll be a great test, and one that we'll be prepared for.
All kinds of conference games going on all around the GMAC, except for Finley's got to welcome in the defending national champion. Ferris will be going over there to take on Finley, but the rest of the conference all getting back into that conference schedule. And you mentioned Lake Erie and their offense. They put up 31, 26, 37, 31 in their 4 games. Hillsdale to come a late last-minute touchdown to beat them, and I think Lake Erie went up to Hillsdale 1 up there last year. So they give those guys fits. They won at Kentucky Wesleyan. It doesn't matter where you go on the road and get a win. That's always a quality win. And then they, losses to McKendree and Southwest Baptist. But those games, they put up 37 and 31 points. To reiterate your fact, coach, this is an offense that has a lot of familiarity with a lot of points.
Yeah, no, they do. They're able to score. They're able to score from far out. And I think that's one of the things that you really respect about them is that, 3rd and 10, they still have a chance to score at any point in time. And so you've really got to make sure that you have that one play mentality where every single play you're locked in, you're focused, and because a team like this, they're so dangerous where just one little misstep and sometimes it's an 8-yard gain. Against these guys, it's an 85-yard gain.
Right.
So just being super locked in and focused on each particular rep is really important.
Strength against strength, almost, when you talk about their offense and your defense right now. I mean, there are offense, statistically, maybe has an edge over their defense when you just look at the numbers. I mean, you don't look at that stuff. That's my job to look at these type of things. But you talk about their offense and our defense. It's really, that's where the headbutting, the strength of the two teams is really going to play it out. They're leading the conference in scoring, averaging 31 a game. We're sitting right in the middle of the conference at just under 27, but there's about 2/3 of the conference are about 6 points within each other, so all are averaging about the same. But defensively is where the difference is. When the Dragons giving up 14 a game, second in the conference, and Lake Erie's giving up 36 a game. So you look at some of those numbers, and maybe you might have a little bit of an advantage maybe on the offensive side of the football for your kids.
Yeah, no, we're excited about that. I think, like I said, they do some really good stuff defensively. I think that challenges you. They've got some good players, got a good pass rush, and got some good players in the back end. And for us on offense, it's really just about continuing to execute, continuing to put the ball in the end zone. And so finding ways to finish drives to cap things off. And, I think you're seeing some really good things, but just being able to finish those drives is really an emphasis for us this week. And I think we'll be able to really work our tails off in practice to feel good about that going into Saturday.
You always want to finish every drive with a kick. You just want it to be for one.
You want it to be
not
for
3.
one. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You got some leaders towards the top of the GMAC right now. Darius Pinnick, second in the league, getting 94 yards a game. And you mentioned the running back from Lake Erie, Raphael Jones Jr. He's getting 78 yards a game and 6th in the conference. So 2 really good quality running backs will be on display among the others that we'll see as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. No, it'll be 2 really good backs, and you'll see some other backs on our side. You'll see some other backs on their side, but potent rushing attacks on both sides of the ball for sure.
A lot of statistical numbers from both quarterbacks so far this year, as well as Gerald Gardner is putting up 318 a game, and Christian Carter is at 221. 2 of the top 3 statistical quarterbacks. So your secondaries on both sides of football are going to have their hands full Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I've been really impressed with their quarterback and their passing attack, and I think they do a great job of stressing you vertically, which is as a defensive backfield, one of the more hard things because you're covering a lot more ground, and so it'll be a great test for those guys. And Christian's played well to date, and really excited for him to continue to get better.
You mentioned their receivers, having talented receivers. Anthony Lowe for the Dragons at 89 yards a game is sitting right in the 5th spot in the conference. But Lake Erie has 3 guys in the top 10, so it's not just one guy that they're throwing. Peyton Brown leads them at 120 yards a game, which is a huge number. But they got 2 other guys averaging that 70, 80 yards per game as well. So the secondary of the Dragons, they've been tested this year, but they've been up to the challenge so far. You got 2 guys leading the league in interceptions in Jermaine Whippy and in Chucky Lewis, so they've been up to the task this year. We've got another big challenge for them ahead this Saturday.
Certainly. No, I think, like I said, I think it's a one-play mentality, and you got to be completely locked in and completely focused. But I think our guys will really be able to rise up to the challenge and excited for the test.
Some of the other guys on the defensive side of the ball, their names are rising up to the top of the leaderboards in the GMAC. Sir Zion Dance, 6th in the conference in tackles right now. 3rd in tackles for loss is Barry Brown. And then you also have Montez Kelly, 3rd in the league in sacks. And I mentioned the other guys. So you got guys that are right up there at the top of the statistical boards, but a bunch of other guys filling out that 10 to 20 spot as well.
Yeah, no, I think we're playing really good team defense. And so you're seeing a lot of different guys make impact plays in a lot of different ways. And so as much as you have kind of those guys that have risen in certain categories, I think you're seeing a lot of the other 10 guys and what they're doing to put that kind of position to be successful. He's just doing his 111th, and that play it's his turn, and the next play it's another guy's turn, and proud of the way that our guys are really swarming the football and taking ownership of it.
People just casually watch a football game or just watch a football game because they're a Tiffin University fan. They watch the game, and then they hear you say that 111th. Like, not everybody, I think, realizes. You hear the announcers say it sometimes, but if one of the 11 is not doing their job on the defensive side, it'll throw everything off whack. And it's just so important to be able to know that the other 10 guys can rely on you, and you can be one of the 10 guys relying on that guy as well.
It's the ultimate game of trust. You have to be able to rely on the other 10 guys in the field to do their job, and you have to be willing to do your job and no more, right? And at times that can be a struggle because you want to do extra because you want it so bad, right? And the reality is that If guys try and do extra, right, then that's where you start to kind of lose some edges there, right? And so you just got to be super consistent and super disciplined and just doing your job as well as you can possibly do it. And you hope that motivates all the other guys to do the same thing on their end.
We mentioned being homecoming weekend, and there's a lot going on. You know, they always want to get that win because you got a lot of alumni in town and everything. But can it be a bit of a distraction for the kids with everything going on? I mean, it's hard to be a football player and be a student at the same time to begin with. But can it be a distraction when it's homecoming week?
I think
your kids focused?
I think it can be if you let it be. You know, I think for us, it's just trying to find a way to have a good meeting here in about 25 minutes and have a good meeting and wake up tomorrow and have another good meeting, have a good practice on Wednesday. And, each opportunity we get to be together, we get to compete or to work. It's just about that grind and it's about that opportunity. And so just trying to compartmentalize throughout the week. And we've never really tried to elevate a game or a weekend. Or for us, it's always been just about Tiffin, about us, about focusing on who we are and trying to be the best version of that. And I think you'll see that again this week.
Usually the Dragons go out and take care of the business on their own. Everything else sort of falls into place on a Saturday afternoon. Well, it is homecoming weekend this weekend. The Dragons and Lake Erie Storm. It's a 4 o'clock start. We have the 10 a.m. Hall of Fame banquet on a Saturday. It used to be a Friday night. There's kind of a switch on that. Makes my Saturday a little bit busy, but we'll get through it, and opens up some things on Friday night. But it's always a lot of fun to have the alumni back in town. You always have a great crowd with the Gridiron Club that you guys have down there in the end zone. But I'm sure there's going to be an even bigger alumni presence from the football side of things on Saturday afternoon there for your kids to participate in front of.
Always. I think we've got one of the most awesome group of alumni that really care and really appreciate their experience here and want to continue to see elevated success on and off the field for our student athletes and in so many different sports too, not just including football. I think that's the cool thing about the Hall of Fame banquet, right? Is you've got all these different student athletes on it from so many different sports, and they're all kind of converging back upon Tiffin where it all started. And so it's neat for our team to be a part of it. It's neat for the other teams to be a part of it, to be able to be at the Hall of Fame banquet and see a lot of the greatness that's come before us and how it happened and hear the stories. I think it always motivates you to continue to get better and just to find a way to keep pushing forward in all that you do on and off the field.
It helps you realize where things were and where things have gotten to as well, for certain. Well, let's go get a big win on Saturday, Coach. The Dragons and the Storm of Lake Erie, Saturday at 4 o'clock. If you can't make it to Frost Cownow Stadium, although we hope to see you there, make sure you tune in to 100.9 FM on your dial or tudragonradio.com. You can watch all the full video at the Great Midwest Digital Network. Get you a link at the GoTiffinDragons.com website. Have a great week, rest of your week practice, Coach, and we'll talk to you next week after
Go Dragons.
Go Dragons. He's Coach Cris Reisert. I'm Russ Snyder. Have yourself a great week, and we'll catch you next time on the Coach Cris Reisert Show.
Your journey is full of choices. Make Tiffin University the next choice in yours.
I chose TU because of the business program. I chose TU because of the baseball team.
To play soccer.
I chose TU because of the small campus and tiny community.
For the golf team and the huge amount of international students that we have.
To play esports and tennis and to study computer science.
The education major and do musical theater. It's great.
The next step in your journey begins at tiffin.edu.
Choose TU!